So, it is day 3 of me posting content. This is the third take, actually, of me trying to create a video. I had a few good flows going on there, but it just didn't resonate as much. And here we go again, I guess. And I guess where I want to start today has been a pretty good day, actually. I had a decent day at work. It was long. It felt longer than usual. The day was just going by a little too slow. But, there's days that are like that. Some days just go by slow, some days go by fast, but whatever. We're off now. We had a shower, we went home, we ate a little bit of food, and now we're out here recording a video. That is everything that I've wanted to do today. I've been doing it. I'm not quite done with my day. There's a few other things I got to work on and got to do today, but it's a part of the process. And when you really just start to enjoy that process, you really just start to enjoy life a lot more. Your life just gets a whole lot brighter. And, that positivity, it just really starts to shine a little more in your life. And if I'm being honest, I was going through a little bit of period of negativity. I was kind of nervous, a little afraid of, getting into this routine I'm in now of creating content again. Just because, I've seen where it took me before. Like, I got the results I was looking for, but there was a part that was missing, the financial side. And, I know YouTube, you could get paid during you doing YouTube, and that is a goal of mine one day to, make money off of this. But the best part about this is I don't have to sell you anything. I don't have to be something I'm not. I just got to be myself. And I think that's what YouTube is all about. It's all about expressing yourself, and that's why I love it so much. And just speaking of YouTube, I've been on this platform my whole life, basically, since I've had electronics. And, it's always been there for me when I've, felt sad, when I just, like, throughout all the emotions, like, YouTube has always been there for me to just kind of go on and, watch videos and do all of that. And I always wonder what would happen if I actually created content for myself. And when I want to say 12 or 13, I started a Minecraft page on YouTube. And the funny thing about that was I made a few videos there. I mean, there was one video I created this big TNT block and I exploded it. Like I lit it and it exploded, whatever, and my frames just shot down to 0. And the point of the video was to be like a little comedy clip where it's like my computer crashes. And anyways, I made a few videos. They didn't really do well, like barely any views at all. And that really discouraged me. And I stopped. I quit right after that, like, second or third video, and I never went back to it until recently. And the funny thing about that is that, getting back onto YouTube, it kind of brings up that nostalgia a little bit of when I did start in the past. And the difference now is that my head is more clear. I know for the most part who I am. I know who I want to become. And in order to get there, I got to start expressing myself a lot more. I got to start being more authentic with who I am. And in order for me to do that, I need to just like talk with no filters. I have to stop creating these little scripts in my head and just go with the flow. And I feel like that's what really makes a good YouTube video in general, is just going with the flow. And like, honestly, just a good conversation in general is when you could talk to somebody and just like speak to them without any barriers. Have you ever had those conversations where you could just talk to somebody for hours on end? And it's like the most interesting conversation. And, by the end of it, you wish it wasn't over because, the energy you're getting and that it's like, it's so powerful and it's so fulfilling. And like, that's the type of content I want to create. I want to create the type of content that, like, when you watch it or when you're listening to me, like, you could relate to a lot of what I say, or you could just like resonate with it because of who I am and who I'm trying to be. I'm not trying to be something I'm not. I'm just trying to be myself. And that's tough sometimes in the world we live in because, people expect a certain way of living. A lot of people. I'm not going to say everyone, okay? I don't want to point fingers or anything, but, especially with social media, you see people post these things, post videos, post content, post photos of like people living their best lives. They're on, they're having their dream bods. They have, they're on vacations. They're making a lot of money. Like all these types of things. Like they're posting their best life. And over years of being on social media, I've noticed that it kind of makes me feel a certain type of way. It makes me feel like I gotta be perfect. And it took me a while to kind of backtrack that statement that I thought about, myself, that I had to be perfect because, I realized one day that, maybe I don't have to be perfect and maybe I'm not perfect. And honestly, I'm not perfect. And I don't think anybody is perfect, but the way social media portrays it, like a lot of people, they really try to seem that way. But that's just not how life is. And one day I realized I just had to be real. I just had to be something that, most people aren't. Authentic. And that has been my motto for the past year. Just being as authentic as I can be. Because if I can be authentic with who I am, then I am doing myself a service and I am doing other people a service because it shows other people what it's like to be authentic with who you are. There's no barriers, there's no borders, it's just you. And when you can get to that place where it is just you, it's just you and your life and your imperfect life, then, there's a weight that's kind of lifted off of your shoulders. You feel a lot lighter because, you're not trying so hard to be something you're not. You're not trying so hard to be perfect. And when I felt that for the first time in my life, man, I cried. I'm going to be honest, I cried, and talking about this is almost bringing me to tears. You might not be able to see it, but that's how powerful it is when you can actually just be yourself. And when you just realize, like, it doesn't matter what other people think. You're just going to be yourself anyways, because who you are matters. Who you are is important. So just be that version of yourself. Just be yourself. Let go of the borders. Let go of the barriers. Let go of the fear of being unliked, because at the end of the day, that is just a fear. And yes, it might partially be true. There's probably going to be people out there that don't like you, but that is okay. Those people, fuck them. Let them go. Who cares? Like, let those opinions go. They don't matter. What matters is you. You matter. You matter. So be yourself. That is the most important thing you can do. And that is something you will never regret. On your deathbed, you're not going to be regretting the fact that you were being yourself. Because when you're real with who you are, other people will see that. They will see your authenticity. They will vibe with who you are. And you will honestly meet more people because of that. You'll meet more people that are meant to be in your life. People that are actually going to be there. That aren't just going to walk away when something changes because they know who you are. They know who you're trying to be. You're just trying to be yourself. And people like that. The real people, they like that. And those are the type of people you want in your life. You don't want fake friends. You don't want to be in a fake relationship. You want to be in relationships with people that really understand you, that really know who you are. And that means friendships. That means, dating. That means all of that. Marriage. You want to be with somebody that you can just be yourself around. At the end of the day, that's what matters the most. Nothing else really matters as much as that. Yes, things are important. Having money is important. And, all of this, all these other things, like having all those things, yes, they can be important, but what matters most is you. Because without you, the world would be a worse place. And with that, before I cry, I think this will end the video. Thanks for watching.